Chris Young back again for oldermuscles.com, coming to you from my home garden area. Well, at least part of my home garden area. I got 7 beds in the back of my house back here, and I got a couple other beds in my front yard. You may be wondering why I'm making a gardening video for a fitness and nutrition YouTube channel. Well, that's because veggies are a very important part of overall health. Gardening is one of my favorite things to do. It's a great way to burn calories and a great way to grow your own veggies. I've found that if you grow your own veggies, you're going to be more likely to eat said veggies, and you're going to know exactly what goes into them. Today, everything fast-forwarded on the time-space continuum in the United States by 1 hour because of daylight savings time. And for me, that means the start of gardening season. I think technically spring doesn't start for another 11 days from what I saw on Google. But for me, once that daylight savings jumps ahead an hour, I don't know if that means that it ends or begins. Daylight savings is kind of a weird concept to me in this modern age, but I digress. But when that does happen in the spring, to me, that's the start of spring. So with that in mind, I've got to start getting my gardening beds in order. As you can see, this one is mainly dedicated to it is dedicated to strawberries. Looks like it's in a state of disrepair. A lot of my garden beds are going to look pretty terrible this time of year. But while they may visually look terrible, that's only because I just kind of let them run wild in the winter time. Also, you probably hear some dogs barking. Don't mind the sounds of my neighborhood. Birds chirping, dogs barking, people using power tools. It's all part of the sights and sounds of backyard gardening. So anyways, back to this garden bed. I'm going to go through, get rid of all this dead stuff. As you can see here, there's still a lot of stuff that is either alive or thriving, perhaps. We have a problem with birds coming and stealing our strawberries, so we put these fake, they're rocks painted like strawberries. They come down and it only takes them pecking at them a couple times with their beaks. They learn their lesson, move on. This bed over here we dedicate to cucumbers. We had an amazing cucumber season last year. And one of my tactics is I'll take a lot of the leaves that fall in the fall time. I'm trying to get my beds ready, and I'll cover my beds. And what it does is it keeps some of the weeds from growing, but it also provides a layer underneath here. All the creepies and crawlies and funkies that make your garden bed soil really, really good thrive underneath this layer here. So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing with a lot of my garden beds is peeling back this layer of leaves. Letting that rich Willamette Valley soil see the light of day for the first time in quite a while. Moving on, we got another strawberry bed that looks like the other one. And we do put like a netting over it in addition to having kind of the fake strawberry rocks. And it keeps most of the birds out. Some of them craftier ones still get what they're after. This bed over here, you can see some dead tomato plants. I'm actually going to deconstruct this bed. I'm going to use the soil, because it's a living soil that I've been working on for several years. I'm going to top off all these other garden beds. And I'm going to put a greenhouse right here for some of those more temperamental plants. Get some seed starts going in there. And just have a cool place to hang out from time to time. Moving on. So when we first moved into this place, this garden bed and this garden bed were the only two that were here. All the rest of them I built as the time went on. So this one, as you can see, is larger than the others. I put a lot of tomatoes in here. You can see a lot of the dead tomatoes, and I peeled back some of the leaves and other whatnots. I'll get this all cleaned out, and like I said, that one garden bed that I'm decommissioning, some of the soil will go in here and top this off. This bed, though, is my pride and joy. I've been working on this garden bed since 2018. You can see there's a lot of dead, funky stuff. All of this green, leafy stuff will get out of here. Weeds will get out of here. But what makes this garden bed special is when I'm doing stuff around my yard and I come across a worm, in addition to putting organic material in here, chicken poop, things like that, if I find a worm anywhere around my yard, I'll throw it in this bin. And then worms go and they work around eating stuff, pooping out worm poop. The soil in this particular bed is pretty amazing, and the tomato plants that grow in here, I use some bamboo stakes as kind of trellises to support my tomato plants. Those bamboo stakes are 8 feet tall, and my tomato plants exceed that height. They get all the way up to the top of the bamboo, and then they start like falling back down again. So as the season goes on, I'll make some videos about them. And then last but not least, in my backyard area is this garden bed. This one was here when we moved in. There's not a whole lot going on in here, but I dedicate this one to flowers and plants that pollinators like. And that's what this little dish is. Put some water in here, and then a little fat bee comes along, and they got a little rock to land on. They get a drink of water as they go about their pollinating business. But in addition to just liking bees, liking pollinators, butterflies, and what have you, it serves a really important purpose in a home garden, because they're going to go around and make just the rest of your garden healthier. Plus, it's no secret that pollinators have struggled in recent years, so anything you can do to help out your little flying pollinator friends, it's always worthwhile. Well, that's it for now. As you can see, I got plenty of work to do, and this is just my backyard one. I have my front yard garden area that I also have a bunch of stuff to do. If you're thinking about doing a home garden, I highly recommend it. It's good for physical health, burning calories. It's good for nutrition because you got stuff that you produce that you can eat, and it's also really good for mental health. I know that anecdotally from my own lived experience, but also a lot of research out there corroborates that. So if you have the space and you have the time and you have the ability, definitely start a home garden. Look for more gardening videos on this here Older Muscles channel. As I say at the end of all my videos, check out oldermuscles.com if you want to find out some mediumly useful, if not super useful information for fitness and health and wellness over the age of 40. Hit like and subscribe on this YouTube channel and all of our social media channels and what have yous. And as always, thank you for the support.